YouTube, what's happening? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video I have another transformation, but instead of a fade we have a high taper in the front and a low taper in the back. Right, we're going to start this haircut off by, as you know, we're going to saturate the hair down, and we like to cut the hair on top first. The reason is why we like to cut the hair on top first is because it allows you to create a nice foundation for your clipper work to work into. So after you've saturated the client's hair on top all evenly, we're now going to set in a section right at the recession area horizontally to the back towards the crown of the head, and then we're going to set in another section across the crown to kind of have a half box. And then we're going to come in and do some diagonal graduation, because this side of his hair is going to push back, and we want to cut the hair in the way in which you want the hair to lay. When doing this type of graduation, you want to make sure to keep an even amount of tension so that the shape stays consistent the whole way through. And as you can see, if you find it a little bit easier, flip the scissors around, it's less strain on your wrist. And we're going to work this graduation all the way through the head, straight through the side areas, through the contour, then through the nape. And then when you get to the other side, we're just doing the nape now, when you get to the other side, we're not going to go backwards again, we're going to actually do some forward graduation, as that part of the head is going to be coming forward. But when we get to that, I'll jump back in and I'll explain it a little bit more. Sorry guys, I forgot that my camera angle wasn't good for this side of the head. I had to cut those bits out. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of me doing that full graduation. But just to make sure that when you're doing that full graduation, you want your fingertips facing the ceiling and the palm of your hands facing the floor, and that'll maintain that triangular shape coming forwards. We'll now just come in and set in our profile section, and we're going to take our guide from the back through the crown area, and this should give us a nice guide and a nice length to take through the front. We're going to keep it almost triangular, but keeping it a bit more square towards the front, and we're just going to keep it nice in thin sections, only cut into our second knuckle to maintain maximum tension. And remember, when you're cutting the top, I like to retract my scissors as I make each cut. This helps keep a cleaner cutting line, as you see. And we're actually going to come in and we're going to cut this top horizontally. We've taken our profile section to set in our guide, and now we're going to take horizontal sections, and you can see our guide in the middle, and we're just going to cut that square to that guide, working all the way forward to the front of the head, making sure not to leave any bits out, and keeping those sections nice and even the whole way through. We're now just coming to the end of cutting the top. We're now going to come straight in and apply some product into the wet hair. And I like to do this before you blow dry, because it gives the hair some body and it allows you to create that shape when you're blow drying. And just adding some product means that you don't just place all the product right in the front of the head, you kind of disperse it the whole way through, almost putting it in like a shampoo. We're now coming in and blow drying with a vent brush and our Dyson hairdryer. I cannot recommend enough this hairdryer. I got it about 1.5 years ago, and it's probably one of the best things I've got in my kit. I love it. But we're now going to come in and remove the bolt completely with a number 3, and we're going to work that guard right into the graduation in which we created, coming square off the head to make sure not to dig in at all, and this should keep that square shape on the sides really nicely. We've just finished clearing all the bulk with our number 3. We're now going to come with our one guard closed, and we're going to take that guideline just to the bottom of the vertical bar, keeping it horizontal the whole way around. Usually I would go the whole way around the head, but as filming purposes I don't. I just go halfway through to the back. And I like to keep that guideline as consistent as possible, making sure to clear all the bulk underneath, and I'm using my comb to brush away any excess hair so that I don't miss anything out. We're now going to come in straight away, opening our one guard, so we have a 1.5, and we're going to come up about 1 inch, keeping that as consistent as possible as always. And I like to flick my clipper a little bit, but if you don't, you don't have to. That's a technique that I've built. And now just come in and we're just going to close that lever ever so slightly and do a bit of lever play just to kind of soften that bottom line. I like to use my lever a lot, I open and close it a lot, but that's just technique that I've built over time. If you find it easier doing it in slower motions, be my guest, you do that. We're now coming with the 1.5 guard open just to kind of come straight under that 3. We will follow up in a little while with a 2, and this just helps us kind of clear that bulk a little bit more. We've now closed that lever, and we're going to keep that lever closed, and again just working under that lever open on the 1.5 guard. And as you can see, there's still a slight line there, so I'm coming in with a slightly bigger 1 guard, but you can do this with the same 1 guard. You just have to flick it a little bit more, use different guards, but you work out your system and you do it. This is just for me, but this is what I like to do. I like to use different guards because it helps me kind of just find them sweet points in between them. And we're now coming with our slimline pros, just setting in that guideline for our taper. We're going to keep that at the bottom of the vertical bar, and we're going to take that right down to the bottom of the ear. We're now going to come with our lever open and only go up about ½ an inch because it's quite a small area, and then we're going to descend down and remove that bottom line. What I mean by descending down is we're going to have it open, mid, closed until that line is completely gone, and then we're going to come in with our 1 guard again just to detail, and then even in a minute we're going to come in and detail even more with our 0.5 guard, and that should bring it all together. But this is just a foundation, and then we'll come back in a minute and we'll detail even more. As you can see, I've just come with our 0.5 guard, and we're keeping those strokes nice and consistent. So we're now going to come in with our 2 guard just to clear up any bulk that is left behind. Not really too much there, but this is just kind of like a tidy up guard. And I always like to brush the hair in the way that it's going to flow just to see how it's sitting. We're now going to come in and shape up. I'm using my Babyliss FX trimmers. These things are absolutely hitters. Look at it. Look how sharp and crispy that lineup's coming. I like to do the vertical bar first. Not going to put a C coupling in today. We're just going to keep the vertical bar. He doesn't get the horizontal bar shapes up at the top. He does on the other side. Now I'm going to come in and do some scissor over comb just to kind of finesse and the connection points between the clip work and the scissor work on top. And this is just where you keep the static blade nice and still. We're now coming with the blow dry just to check the shape and put all the hair back into place in which it should lay. So we're now going to switch over to our Andis Slimline Pro to go around the ears. I find these a little bit easier because the blade's smaller. I like to use my middle finger on my other hand as like a pivot point to rest my clipper onto, and just keeping that movement nice and fluid just to create that nice circular shape around the ear. And then we're going to follow it down through the nape of his neck and keep it nice and natural, but keeping that line up quite sharp. Again, using my comb to comb away any excess to keep that line out as crispy as possible. We're now going to come with our full shaver just to get the bottom of that nice and bald and add that extra transition onto the sides. As you can see, we're now moving on to the other side. I'm going to let you follow along and listen to these beats.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
Boy, that tape is coming out blurry. Look at that shape up, look how crispy it is. Boys, let me tell you, these clippers are absolute hitters. If you haven't got them already, be sure to go check them out. And guys, please make sure to smash that subscribe button, comment down below. It really does motivate me and it helps the channel grow. But for now, enjoy these beats and I'll join you back in a little bit. Right, we're coming to the end of this side now. We're going to move straight onto the back. And we're just going to set in that guard line with the one guard closed. And then we're going to come in with our 1.5 guard open. And then we're going to mid-close it and then close it, descend our way down. And then we're going to open and close it just to kind of detail in between those guards, in between the two guards, sorry, just to get rid of all the dark spots. And then it's the same steps as before. We're going to come in with our 1.5 guard, as you'll see in a minute. Right now we're coming to 1.5 guard just to kind of flick out that kind of bulk towards the top. And then in a minute we'll come in and close that. Right there, we just close that guard. And this is all just kind of detail, like the same steps as the side. And then we might come in by 2 in a second, I can't actually remember. Yeah, we do. Look, we come with our 2 guard, but this is a great tip. Going with the hair growth, especially on straight hair, it really helps the hair to lay flat and it removes the bulk without removing all the length, and it is a really, really good technique. We're now coming with some scissor over comb just to kind of refine those connection points between the clipper work and the scissor work on top. And I'd just like to use a thinning scissors just a little bit here, just to kind of soften that line up even a little bit more. And we're now going to come in and do the bottom taper. We're just going to very, very soft taper towards the bottom here. We just open the lever and then descend our way down until that bottom line is completely bald at the bottom. Just to kind of taper out, nothing too high. As you can see, it's got quite a protruding occipital bone, so you can't take that taper too high, otherwise it'll just leave a really dark line underneath. And now I'm going to come in by 0.5 guard and just kind of refine that bottom part of his nape. This is a great way of keeping the haircut tidy. We're now going to come in with our razor here and just get that line up as crispy as possible, keeping the skin taut in the opposite direction and keeping the blade at a 45-degree angle. I'm now going to come in and do the exact same steps on the other side. Right guys, let's have a quick recap. This is what my man came in looking like. 5 months of no trim. This is what he came out. Guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, please make sure to smash that subscribe button. Comment down below what you want to see next, and I'll see you soon. Peace.